Hey everybody, Domonic Wendell here, and I am here with my good friend Lolli. Lolli, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Lolli Leclaire, and I have been a realtor for almost 13 years now.
Oh my gosh, it is so awesome to be able to do this with you. I'm just super excited because you have a lot of knowledge that I love just bouncing ideas off of people and being able to, get different avenues of how people do business and all of that good stuff. And you've obviously been in the business for a little bit now and you've gone through different markets now. And I think it's a very good topic to talk about what's going on with the market and everything. How are agents able to still stand out with this business, with even people who are just getting into the business? So Lolli, what do you feel in the market as of right now?
I obviously feel like everybody is a little scared of what's going on. And I think a lot of times the news and maybe what you're hearing on social media or a lot of scare tactics, I think really freak out people who are either thinking about buying or selling their home and they're just not quite sure what's going on. But I do know that like there are facts out there. Yes, interest rates are rising, but they don't know all of it. And there's something called EQ where you can feel what's going on with the market. And I kind of joke sometimes where I wake up sometimes and I'm like, okay, the market, something's happening. And I mean, something's shifting. And even if nothing has been said, it's happening, either calls with realtors or on your listings or whatever's happening. It's a sense of what's going on, and it's usually different than what's happening in the news. So people are still buying their homes, people are still listing their homes. It just appears that everything is like to a screech halt. I do have to say things have shifted, so everything is slowed down, but we are definitely in a market where it's just becoming more, we're getting down there. We're still in a hot market. We're not even to a balanced market yet. So we're still doing good. We just got to help navigate and keep pushing through.
Yeah, and I think the biggest thing right now is just really help sellers understand how vital it is when they're going to sell their property for not overpricing it. I think that's what kind of scared a lot of people was, it was blasted all over the news about how, oh my gosh, we're having so many price reductions, prices are going down and all of this stuff. And it's not that. It's more of, we're not in that inflated part anymore of where, houses are just going hundreds of thousands of dollars over list price. And the sheer fact of it is that we just have way more inventory now. And
Yeah.
I think being able to kind of get that as a seller or even a buyer too, it really helps understand, what the current market conditions are. And
Yeah.
so I think for me personally, what I try to really help people understand is, I have a couple listings coming up right now, and with, pricing it and everything, they're like, oh, we could probably get over list price and everything, right? And I'm like, it depends all on your house. I think honestly, it comes down to how well maintained your house is, how updated it is. And if it's in a desired area, I think that also plays a big portion into it. You always hear location in real estate. And
Exactly.
um, yeah, and it just comes back down to, what are people willing to pay for your house? That's what it honestly.
Exactly. And I do agree. I think sellers who were waiting to maybe hit it at the right spot, they needed to think, their house was a teeny bit outdated, or they needed a roof replaced or an AC replaced or whatever they needed. They missed the boat on that. Sellers are really, you are back to got to sell your house. The ones that are pretty, that look really pretty on when you see the pictures come through and there's really not a whole lot to be done. Those are the ones that sell
Yeah,
for what you're trying to sell it for.
exactly. Yeah, we're not in the market of where, you can put POSs on the market and they're gonna go over this price and everything, And that's what I try to tell people too is, we're getting more to a balanced state of where there's negotiating involved. It's not, all right, we're the seller, you're the buyer, you're gonna do exactly what we say, or
Yeah.
we're not gonna accept your offer. And it's nice to be able to go back to that now. Because even for me, I've never really got to experience all of that stuff. But now I think this is where you can really stand out as an agent. And especially, I've talked to a whole bunch of lenders, people who have been in the industry on the real estate agent side for years now. And they're like, we are about to see a huge drop off of agents, of loan officers, all of that stuff. And so now you have to really stand out and show people what you're made of, why you bring so much value and why we get paid so much. I think that's another big thing that a lot of people don't understand is we get paid because we solve problems and we solve big problems. It's not just, we're just throwing a house on the market and then it's going to sell within 24 hours. Now you actually have to go into marketing it, being able to contact your sphere of influence and see if anybody's possibly looking to move into that area. Like it comes with more creativity, and that's what I love about it.
Yeah, it's just basically get back to the basics. And when I got into the market, I got into it with the downturn, and we were in it. There was no agents. I think there really wasn't hardly any agents. People were saying, you're going to become an agent. And I said, yep, I'm getting into it. And it was probably the hardest thing to do, but it's getting to the nitty gritty. If you have, for new agents and you have somebody looking for a rental, don't turn it down. Nurture that client, help them get into a rental, help them see if they can qualify for a home, help them put a plan together, and that person will become your client, usually for life, if you can keep up with them and keep in contact with them. And that's how I built my business back in the day. It's just the basics, getting down and really working. Real estate is a job. And I think a lot of people that got into the market in the last few years, it was, there's no such thing as easy. I hate that word, but it was probably a little bit, easier maybe, or enticing, I think, for people to get into it because they're like, oh, I'm just going to be a realtor and it's going to be so much fun. And it is a great job to get into, but it's a job, and we got to get to work, and we have to get back to get back to the basics. We're here, we're hired for a reason, and people want direction and they want problem solved, and that's what we can do to do that.
Yeah, and that's actually kind of something that I wanted to talk about. So like with everything kind of changing as of now, what are some things that you're going to be doing moving forward to be able to help your clients, whether it's on the buy or sell side, but also show them that you're a standout agent? Like they don't need to go anywhere else because you have everything that you do. So like, what makes you stand out from other people?
I think it's just continuing to show them that they can trust me and relate with me. So not everyone's going to relate to me, and not everyone has over the years. So I think it's just being true to myself and showing people if, what is happening, facts about what's going on, about what I feel is going on, presenting to them, people that are on my side as far as lenders are going, and title companies, inspectors, anything like that can help them, because knowledge is power. And when a buyer or a seller has enough knowledge that I can provide to them, they continue to trust me as their realtor, or will trust me as their realtor. And I think staying in front of them and top of mind is super important. So keeping my contact list and keeping in touch with that, and utilizing social media, that part, as an old fogey, it was a little bit to like get into social media, but utilizing the social media aspect of it and showing my personality and what I can do for people.
Yeah. And I think that's that kind of drew me more to social media, just because you're able to draw in the people that are naturally going to attract to you, who, mix with your personality. And that's what I love about it so much, is that, you never really get those clients anymore if you're properly promoting yourself and not trying to be for everybody. You're going to attract the people who are going to be fun to work with. And I think that's what is so fun about this job is, you can have all different aspects of personality, just people in general, but also being able to be on the same page with people. Like I've had clients where we've been on completely separate books, and and when you have that, it's just so hard to be able to make this big thing, a real estate transaction, come together. But when you're able to leverage social media, like you were saying, and attract the people that want to work with you because they have that like and trust factor, just because I think that's what social media is for me, is it's a way of being able to get your personality out there and for people to actually get to know you without even having to come in contact with you. Because I get a lot of people that, call me or even just DM me saying like they're not ready yet and they don't really want to hop on a call or anything, but they love that I post social media stuff because they get to know me. And it's almost like a lead gen source just from the sheer fact that it's or a lead gen machine, because it's warming them up. It's warming them up to you. And then once they're ready, they've already consumed so much of your content to where they're like, well, I've already seen all of this stuff from Lolli and everything. I might as well just go with her and work with her. So that's what I love about social media.
I know, I totally agree. I think it's just being your authentic self. And I think that sometimes people overthink things, me included. I mean, you definitely have to just do the basics, jump in and start with today and do one thing that you think hard or scary and just do it. Whether that's writing, letters to your clients, doing a social media post, doing a reel, doing anything that you need to do or want to get out of your box, just do it, because that's where people will be relating to you. So, and you do a great job of that, Dominic. I try to follow your lead because you youngins are really amazing.
No, I love that. And I think it also goes back to like how important are relationships? Like
So important. That's all it is.
Yeah.
Who are you going to want to do business with? It's somebody who you trust and like and can relate to. And like you just said, and I said before, is not everyone's going to like you. And sometimes it kind of hurts your feelings. And I've had to fire a couple people in my years because it just wasn't working. It was bad.
Yeah.
Not to go into details, but you have to let go of those because it does not worth it in the end.
And and I think that's the other thing about being in real estate is, for me, it's not about the money. I'm a firm believer that if you just do people right enough times, it's good. The universe, God, whatever you believe in, is going to come back and it's going to reward you of just helping other people get to where they want to get to. And I think with being able to just help people, it's more of a fulfillment more than anything. Like I don't get super excited about a big check. What I get excited about is seeing how excited my clients are about getting their house or selling their house for top dollar. Like that is the pure joy that I get from it. And I think it kind of goes back to, when you're first getting into real estate, a lot of people think that, oh, it's just a money making business and all of this stuff. And honestly, like the first couple of years, you're going to be busting your butt and you're not going to see a lot of return off of it. Mm-hmm. And for me, I think one of my big things that helped me kind of steer away from like looking at the money aspect of things was finding my why. Like, why do I do the things that I do? Why do I get up and, bust my butt for everything that I do? And
I agree.
Like, what is your big why essentially?
Your why changes over the years. So my why when I first started out was necessity. I had to figure it out and I had to make money. So that has changed, not drastically, but every few years my why does change. So when my kids they were younger, I had to, I wanted to be their role model. I'm out there working. I wanted to do that. Now with this stage of my life, there is a whole new, maybe calling it like Lolli 5.0, the new Lolli 5.0. There's no 2.0, 3.0, 4.0, but just, kind of reinventing myself that I want to be, I want to work towards a retirement, kind of getting a little older. And so my why is to really, bust my butt and continue on with doing my business like I've been doing, but also, help other agents as well. And we have a great group that we work with that I do want to, continue to nurture that as well. So my why is just to, I guess, retire right now, retire as best I can with my kids and hopefully grandkids one day. So.
Yeah, no, and I love that too. And it's about looking into the future, like it's more about looking at what you're working towards, not rather. I heard this little Instagram thing today, and it was it went the guy or the person who enjoys walking rather than enjoys going to the destination is going to be way more successful.
Uh,
And
good.
just basically falling in love with the process and just loving the grind more than anything. Like that's how you prevent burnout, in my opinion.
Yeah.
When I first got in, I was so gun ho about making money and all of this stuff. And then, you get your first check and everything. And like, yeah, it's cool. You get this little high or whatever. But then after that, what? Like you have to work
Back
towards the
at it.
next one.
Yeah.
So falling in love with just like genuinely helping people. And I think people also feed off of that is they see Lolli having fun. They see Lolli having a good time serving her clients and being able to give them the time and energy that they need. And that's what people are going to gravitate towards is I know Lolly's going to take good care of me. And so that's why I want to work with her. She's going to genuinely give me good advice that she would give herself. And she's not going to BS me. She's going to just tell me how it is. And I think
Yeah.
that's what people love is the real in people.
The real people. Yeah. And I do think over the years, I found that I'm definitely a people pleaser, and it's really hard for me to, say no. And, but it has served me with my clients in a way. So I have found myself going above and beyond because I would do anything for my clients. Like you said in the beginning, it's not really about, that end check that you're getting. It's about how am I going to be able to make sure my client gets into their house, or how am I going to be able to get my seller to that finish point where they have their close date and they have their check in hand and they're off into their new little adventure. So it's a lot that happens in between all that too. I don't know. We're in monsoon season right now. I've had roofs leaking like crazy and people going, oh my gosh, I don't know what to do. And I'm over there at 6 a.m. trying to help them figure out what's going to happen, call a roofer, get all this stuff out. There's so many things, cleaning houses. My husband has time to be like, oh my gosh, you do so much. And I'm like, I gotta, like, who else is going to do it?
Exactly.
If I have a client that doesn't want to clean their home, guess who wants to do it? Me, because I don't want that next buyer coming in and being mad and disappointed because their house that they're moving into tomorrow is dirty. So now I call a cleaner that I have that I'm like, you know what, can you help me out? Because, but in the beginning, I was all over the place, just doing everything for everybody. But guess what? It fulfilled me. It helped make my clients really happy. And I did what I could do and what I liked to do. Now I utilize my time a little bit better and utilize people.
Exactly. It's all
But I
about
still help my
learning.
clients.
Yes, I love it. And I think that honestly goes back to relationships, building those relationships, just as you did with your cleaner. You can call these people in a time of need, such as that,
Mhm.
and you know that they're going to be able to show up and do good, like
Yes.
do a good job and everything. And I think that's it's like this whole thing about building relationships and maintaining them is it's not just with clients, it's also with vendors, lenders. I know your husband's a lender and everything, and you can gladly, refer him a client and
Yeah.
everything, knowing that he's going to take great care. But it also comes back to having a great roofer, having a great handyman, having a great title rep, whatever it is. I think being able to have those and leverage, your job a little bit more so you're not putting so much on your plate, it makes the job way more easier because then you're sticking to what you're good at.
That's exactly it. That is exactly it, Dominic. I think that's one of the best advice for people coming into the business. Learn how to leverage other people and understand that your time is valuable and what you spend the time that you're best at. And if you signed up to be a realtor and taking your classes and you're ready to go, guess what? You're going to be a realtor and you're going to be great at it. But put the time and energy and being the best realtor that you can be, and delegate everything else. I have
Exactly.
to take my own advice because I tend to be like, oh no, I can't let them do that because I'm going to take care of it. But I'm going to do that, Dominic. I'm going to start doing
No,
that a
I,
little bit better.
well, and I think like it's just having a good reminder from other people too. Like it's not that you forgot about it or anything. It's just that you care so much about that.
Yeah.
You have so much pride in your work. And I think that's what honestly makes you stand out from other agents is the time and effort that you do put in towards your deals on even the back end stuff that you don't necessarily need to do, such as, cleaning houses. Like I've been there as well, but that is what people see and they see how hard you work and they're like, you know what? I love, like, I am more than happy. I wish I could have paid more to Lolli, you know, and I've had clients do that. I like, seriously, I have a listing coming up over in Levine, and the seller, she's like, well, you've like done everything. Like, I was driving her down to Tucson, going and looking at houses and everything, just going above and beyond, because I helped one of her previous friends and I'm actually helping them remove again. But I helped them and I did such a good job, not to toot my own horn, but I did such a good job with them that she got relayed all that information, and now she gets to see like the real Domonic in action. And I think being able to just go above and beyond, that's what's going to make you super successful.
Yeah.
You know,
And I do, now that you touched on that too, I think there being referrals are a way of life. I mean,
100%.
I always say I'm referral based, and I really am. I mean, almost all of my business comes by referral, and that makes me so happy. And it makes me happy because, just like you just said, when you do good for one person, they usually talk about it to the next person, and then that next person, and then the next person, and hopefully that just keeps continuing on and on and on. But yeah, I think that's a very, 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 very good point, because Domonic, that's so important, because
Yeah.
referrals are important. Those are your best like clients too.
Well, and those are the people that they already have that know, like, and trust factor.
Yeah.
Like, they've heard all the good things from, you know, their friends and everything, and they're excited to work with you more than anything. I
Yeah.
think that's when it's super fun, is when you get people who are excited about going and buying their first house, or, you know, maybe a family has lived in their house for a while and the other realtor hasn't stayed in touch with them, and then they found one of your friends and they're like, oh my gosh, Lolli was so good. And then they're able to know that they're in good hands. You know, they got to hear their friends' experience with you, and being able to just share those stories. And it's almost like a walking billboard. That's what I look at it as too, is like, I help these clients move down from Minnesota, and I help them move into a little trailer park and everything, and they love it. Like, they're absolutely in love with it, and I go golf with them all the time. Like, I absolutely love their little place. And now they're looking to move down here full time and everything, and just knowing that I help them out so much, and they've referred me so much business. And that's the great part about it, is they genuinely know I care. They know I'm not just in it for the money, because they've been through the process with me, and they know how I work. They know how I want to treat people and everything. And I think being able to show that, not just, you know, on camera or whatever, because I think that's the one big thing that I try to tell a lot of people when they get on social media, is don't try to be somebody else, because as soon as they find out that you're not actually them, they're gone. Like, it's completely ruined the relationship.
It's not funny. So real quick, funny story. So when I first started out, I was a little like, oh, I have to be so serious. People think I'm goofy, because I have a tendency to be really goofy, and, I have a lot of fun. I'm like, hey, blah, blah,
Yeah.
blah. Well, they tend to think, oh, she's not serious and she's not, smart or whatever. And so I was like, oh, I got to be serious. I totally have to be like, oh, hi, my name's Lolli, I'm a real estate. So the first couple times, and I still have a couple clients that are still my clients after all these years, and I kind of giggle. I was so nervous. This man was a high-end like corporate guy, and I was so nervous. I mean, crazy nervous. I had my iPad, I had my phone, I had my listings printed out, blah, 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 blah. And we're showing houses, and we go, and I'm driving him. And this is back, no one really gets in my car anymore, but we drove in the car. He wanted me to drive him around, and I get out to one of my listings, and I was so nervous and so like out of my head. I go in my car, I go in my passenger seat, and he's like, and he walks over to the driver's side. He goes, so do you want me to drive? And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm like, this is my car. And then I get these like giggle fits, Dominic. I'm like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. And then I'm not kidding. And then it's like I dropped all my like inhibitions of trying to be this like professional realtor, because I think he was my second client. I mean, like really, it was really new. But and I was like, this is so silly. I just have to be myself and it's fine. And you know what? It was fine. And I have to know that it just is okay to be you and silly, because people
That's what makes you
I've had many instances over the years where people like, oh, I didn't know that about you. And so anyway, it's kind of fun.
Yeah, no, like, and I think that's what makes you so authentic too, is just being your genuine self. I think everybody has a little gift in them that separates them apart from everybody else. But once you find that, you have to leverage it to your advantage.
Yeah.
Like for me, I was very shy when I first got into real estate. I was,
You?
I was more coming out of my shell when I was getting into real estate. But I think when you get into real estate, it puts you in so many uncomfortable positions that it's just like, you know what, this is it. This is natural. I'm just going to do me. And people enjoy that though, because that's your real self. You're not putting on a show for anybody. It's just genuinely who you are. And people appreciate that way more than, you just trying to be somebody else that you're not.
Yep. And you don't have to know everything. That's the important thing too, is like, you're not, everything you learn in real estate school is just not, it's not really used out here in the real world of real estate. So just knowing that you don't have to be perfect, you don't have to know everything. And that when you're just say that to your people, be like, you know what, I don't really know that, but I have someone that can help me out. I'll get right back to you. So yeah, they don't mind that. They want to hear that. I would want to hear that. I
Yeah.
don't want people who are like, oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Or
So
just give you wrong information. Like that's what I
yeah,
tell like people. If I don't know the answer, like I'll be straight up with them, like, you know what, I don't know that, and I don't want to give you wrong information and have it come back at me. So let me get back to you. I can get that answer to you within the hour or something. And I make sure that I get those things done. And it's very important to be kind of urgent in this industry is,
oh God, yes.
decisions can be made very quickly. And so you definitely want to hop on, that urgency train as soon as you can, especially if, something's going on with a deal, if a deal's falling through or whatever it is, you just need to constantly be at the bit ready to help somebody, which is
Yep.
a good side and a downside. Like it kind of goes hand in hand, but honestly, you just got to keep rolling with the punches. Like nothing in this industry is ever going to be perfect. Like there's never going to be a transaction that's just seamless. Like
There may be one or two.
yeah, like there it's
And when it happens, it's like, no way, did that really happen?
yeah,
No way. Was that like,
sure.
are you like, are you sure it funded? Are you
Right.
sure? Because I don't know, nothing really happened over this, but that's maybe I can count on one hand after all the deals in as many years I've been to it, that has happened. Never count your chickens before they hatch. Like you literally have to work through each thing and be on top of every single thing. And if you're not, things fall through the crack. And you learn by experience. Guess what? It'll happen to you. It just does. And you're like, oh God. And you just figure it out. But
Yeah.
it is.
And I think that's probably one of the best ways to learn in this industry is just being able to learn from your own experiences. It's okay to mess up. Like,
Yeah.
not the end of the world. There's going to be another deal, whatever it is. But just be real with people and let them know that you did mess up because they appreciate the honesty more than you just lying to them.
Yep.
But, well, I love this conversation. So I want to ask you one last thing. What if there are some newer people or maybe some people who have been in the industry for a while now, but they're trying to reinvent themselves, trying to regenerate their whole business and everything? What are some key things that you would give them for advice?
I would probably, well, here's what I would do. What I'm doing for myself is just write down one thing that you want to start new and tackle that for the week. So write down one new thing that you want to do with your client, break it down into groups. So maybe your clients, social media, maybe personal, because your personal life fits into your business life. And without your personal life, you can't have, you've got to exercise. I believe in exercise. I believe in getting enough sleep, because without all that, how are you going to be able to serve your people in your life, your family and your clients? So that's one thing I like, is just make sure is put down what one thing that you want to challenge yourself and do for the week. So there's one thing. And then really sit down and write down and have like your time blocking. And because when you're a realtor, you have time, especially sometimes when you're just in a little bit of a lull, you've got to make sure you have your time blocks. And time blocking is tough I think for realtors.
No,
Well, especially because I'm like beep, 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 all over the place, but time blocking is tough. So getting back to time blocking and learning how to time block is super important. So I think those are the two really important things. And just be patient and trust yourself and do that next thing. And people think they don't, when they're first starting out, that they don't know people and they don't know who to reach out to. We all know a bunch of people. So you reach out and you say, hi. If you're new, hi, guess what? I just got my license. I'd love to help you out in the future. Are you looking for a home or blah, blah, blah? If you are in the industry for a long time, reach out to people saying, I have not talked to you in so long. How are you? I mean, just reaching out to people is like really cool. People still answer the phone, believe it or not. And if they don't, they see your number and they'll say, oh, I wonder why Lolli called. So I just think those are the things that I would probably do. My list gets a little bit long, but I would say those are the things I would do right now, the two things.
No,
Set a goal, do it, set a goal, figure out how you can put that to action in the one, each week, and then time blocking each day.
no, I love that. And it is very important to make sure that, I think time blocking really helps a lot of newer people just because for me, for example, uh, I don't work on one thing, the whole day. I try to work on not a whole bunch of things and like spread myself out too far, but I don't want to work on something to where it's not money making activities, like
Right.
such as, reviewing comps and all of that stuff or sending out properties and all of that stuff. Like I give myself about an hour to be able to knock that all out. And then I move on to the next stuff. And then just being able to kind of get in that system of being able to knock out one thing at a time and just fully focus on it. I think that's another big thing that we don't realize we do, but we do it subconsciously is we're constantly scattered all over like, oh, I forgot to call Becky back or,
Yeah.
whatever it is. I think being able to be very intentional about your time is super important in this industry. But I also do think I like the like working out and having that self time, that self development time. For me, just probably like 3 4 months ago, I was going through a little bit of a lull and I wasn't working out. I wasn't doing anything of that sort, like giving back to myself. I wasn't giving to myself.
Mhm.
And it is so important because that's how you get burnout is by not helping yourself, like it
I
is
agree.
very tiring in this industry, not just like physically, but like mentally is like where
Yeah.
you really get tired. And so
Yeah.
being able to find that little getaway, whether it's going to the gym for an hour and just focusing on yourself, that is so nice to have. And I think
Oh my
it is
gosh.
very important to have.
It is so important. And you will run yourself. And I'll say from a mom's point of view, you are stretched beyond because every single person around you needs you. And you can be very stretched. So you have to learn the people your age and like even people my age are still don't have that down. But if you take that special time for yourself, I don't turn my phone on in the morning until probably I get up early, but I don't turn it on really until about 7. I don't even turn my
I'm with
phone
you.
on until 7. And then unless I have it walking, but I don't look at it or if I'm working out. But
Yep.
it is super important to have that. And the times where I don't, I'm not my best self. And it's a true thing when you can create those endorphins, you have your best energy in the morning. Your best energy in
Exactly.
the morning. And when you can get up and get that energy flowing and feel good about yourself, that exudes to your people and to everyone around you. And that makes it makes you like yourself more. And if you like yourself more, people are
Oh,
gonna
you
like
could
you
kill
more.
it. Like if you are so comfortable in your skin, like that's what I found so nice about waking up in the morning is that's like so I wake up at 5:30 and then I go on a 45-minute walk. I just if anything, I just listen to a podcast or something motivational. I'm a firm believer of
I love
having
that too.
positive stuff going into your mind constantly, like at minimum, 10 to 15 minutes a day
Yeah.
of like listening to a motivational video or something of that sort because then it gets you kind of jacked up and then you're like ready for the day and being able to for me going on walks it's just like I'm detaching myself from my phone from work everything and I'm able to focus on myself and it's kind of nice doing it in the morning because nobody's ever up that early so
I know.
but being able to do that and making sure that that's a priority in your life especially when you're in this industry is super important in my opinion just because then you're able to give back to yourself and you're not reacting to the day you're acting on the day and so I think that is a big thing that I've definitely you know tried to implement more in my life is
Good.
be more intentional about my mornings. Like I'm a firm believer and it's proven like all of the very, very, very successful people in life always have a morning routine. And it's because it is so important to take care of yourself first before you take care of all these other problems.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. It's very true. I've always, 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 always believed that. Always. And
Yes,
people think I could never do that. I'm like, yes, you could. It takes just a week to get used to it. And
exactly.
then we keep
Yeah.
going.
I'm right there with you. Well, Lolly, thank you so much. This was awesome. Like seriously, you dropped so many golden nuggets for all these people.
I
So,
know. So.
um, Lolly, what's the best way to get a hold of you or anything of that sort?
Yeah, people can reach out to me by my phone number. It's 480-688-9897. You can reach me through social media, Lolli Leclaire, and just ask me anything they need to ask, or just to say hey.
Awesome. Well, awesome. No, I love it. So thank you guys so much for watching. I'm going to leave all of Lolly's contact information below in the description. If you want to reach out to her, by all means, make sure you do. Go follow her on Instagram, Facebook, whatever you want to do. But other than that, I hope you guys have a good rest of your day. And Lolly, thank you so much again.
Thanks, Dominic.
Alrighty, bye.
Okay, bye.